There is a condiment in your refrigerator right now that restores tarnished copper to mirror-bright finish in 15 minutes without toxic polishing compounds, and jewelers charge $45 per item to perform the same chemical process using products that cost them 18 cents. 1 tablespoon of standard grocery store ketchup applied to blackened copper will strip away years of oxidation and reveal the original rose gold metal underneath without scratching, without harsh fumes, and without the elbow grease that traditional polishing requires. Not a commercial copper cleaner from the hardware store that costs $9 per bottle and contains ammonium compounds that burn your skin if you forget to wear gloves. Not a polishing paste that costs $14, requires buffing wheels or hours of hand rubbing, and leaves a chalky residue in every crevice of decorative pieces. Not a jeweler service that charges $30 to $60 per piece to clean copper jewelry, then acts like they performed some specialized technique that required professional equipment and expertise you could never replicate at home. This method works because ketchup contains acetic acid from vinegar and citric acid from tomatoes, and those mild acids dissolve copper oxide, the black and green tarnish that forms on copper surfaces, through a simple chemical reaction that converts the oxide back into soluble copper salts that wipe away with water. A copper bracelet that turned your wrist green and looks like it came out of a landfill becomes shiny enough to see your reflection. A set of copper cookware with bottoms blackened from years of stovetop use regains the gleaming finish that made you buy them in the first place. Decorative copper pieces, vases, bowls, architectural elements that have developed the thick, crusty patina people mistakenly think is supposed to be there. Return to clean metal that actually looks intentional. No spending an hour with a rag and polish rubbing in circles until your forearm burns. No breathing chemical fumes that give you a headache and make you open every window in the house. No taking your copper items to a jeweler or metal restoration specialist who quotes you prices that make you consider just buying new pieces instead. This technique has been passed through generations in households where copper cookware was standard kitchen equipment and tarnish removal was a regular maintenance task no one would have considered paying someone else to perform. Professional jewelers discovered it independently and used it in back rooms for quick cleaning jobs while selling customers expensive ultrasonic cleaning services for the exact same result. Then the metal care product industry recognized what a 50-cent home solution was doing to their specialty cleaner sales, and the method disappeared from every jewelry care guide, every copper cookware manual, and every metal restoration tutorial that the Jewelry Industry Council's consumer education materials could influence. Welcome to Forbidden Arena, where we expose what the polishing cloth hides. If you have ever paid to have copper cleaned or bought products that barely worked and left your hands stained, subscribe right now because what comes next will permanently change how you maintain every piece of copper you own. To understand why this works, you need to understand what tarnish actually is at the chemical level. Copper is a reactive metal. When exposed to oxygen in air, it undergoes oxidation, a chemical reaction where copper atoms lose electrons and bond with oxygen atoms to form copper oxide. Fresh copper oxide appears pink or red, but as oxidation continues, the copper oxide reacts with moisture, carbon dioxide, and sulfur compounds in the air to form copper carbonate and copper sulfate. These compounds create the black, brown, and green layers commonly called tarnish or patina. In 1744, a Swedish chemist named Georg Brandt published research on metal oxidation processes. He documented that oxidized metals could be reduced back to their elemental state through chemical reactions with acids. When an acid contacts copper oxide, hydrogen ions from the acid react with the oxygen in the copper oxide, forming water and leaving behind copper ions that dissolve in the acid solution. The tarnish literally transforms into a liquid that rinses away, revealing clean copper underneath. By the 1800s, copper cookware was standard in European and American kitchens. Copper conducts heat exceptionally well, making it ideal for precise cooking, but it tarnishes rapidly from heat, moisture, and food acids. Household management guides from the Victorian era contain dozens of recipes for homemade copper polishes using vinegar, salt, lemon juice, and other acidic household ingredients. The chemistry was common knowledge. In 1938, a professional cook in a New York hotel kitchen named Dorothy Kellerman was responsible for maintaining a set of 40 copper pots and pans. The hotel used copper exclusively because the chef demanded precise temperature control. Kellerman's job included keeping the copper gleaming for kitchen inspections and the occasional tour by food critics. Commercial copper polish was expensive, and the hotel management complained about the supply costs. Kellerman started experimenting with kitchen ingredients. Vinegar alone worked, but required extensive scrubbing. Lemon juice worked faster but was expensive. Then she tried ketchup, which the kitchen had in industrial quantities. The results were superior to anything she had used before. The thickness of ketchup meant it clung to vertical surfaces instead of running off like liquid vinegar. The tomato solids provided mild abrasive action that helped scrub loosened oxide. The combination of acetic acid from vinegar and citric acid from tomatoes created a more aggressive cleaning action than either acid alone. Kellerman could clean a copper pot in 5 minutes with a handful of ketchup compared to 20 minutes with commercial polish. She shared the technique with other hotel kitchen staff. Throughout the 1940s and 50s, the method circulated in professional kitchens where copper cookware was common. Home cooks who used copper picked it up from cooking columns in newspapers and women's magazines. By the 1960s, it was widely known among people who actually used copper regularly. Then copper cookware fell out of fashion as stainless steel and non-stick coatings became popular. Fewer households owned copper pieces. The knowledge of how to maintain them faded from common practice. Simultaneously, the specialty cleaning product industry exploded. Chemical manufacturers developed formulations for every specific cleaning task and marketed them as essential modern solutions superior to old-fashioned home remedies. Copper polish became a product category with multiple brands competing for shelf space. The products worked, but they were fundamentally just acidic compounds in a paste or liquid base, the same chemistry as ketchup but packaged in bottles with professional branding and sold at markups exceeding 2,000% over ingredient cost. Jewelry care became professionalized. Jewelers started offering cleaning services as a revenue stream separate from repair and sales. They promoted the idea that proper jewelry care required professional expertise and specialized equipment. Ultrasonic cleaners, steam cleaners, and proprietary polishing compounds became standard in jewelry shops. Customers were discouraged from attempting cleaning at home with warnings about damage risks and voided warranties. A ketchup method that worked perfectly well and cost nothing did not fit the business model. By the 1980s, ketchup for copper cleaning had been relegated to the category of folk remedies and old wives' tales, techniques that might have worked once but were surely obsolete now that better products existed. Except the chemistry had not changed. The products were not better. They were just marketed more effectively. Let me show you exactly how much money flows through copper cleaning. The market for metal polishes and jewelry cleaning services in the United States generates approximately $280 million annually. Copper-specific polishes cost $7 to $15 per bottle. The average copper cookware owner purchases 2 to 3 bottles per year. Jewelry cleaning services charge $25 to $75 per visit depending on the number of items and the jeweler's location. Many jewelry stores offer free cleaning to customers who purchased items from them, but the cost is built into the initial sale price, and the service creates foot traffic that leads to additional purchases. Over 10 years, a household that regularly maintains copper items spends between $150 and $400 on polishing products and professional cleaning services. A standard 40-ounce bottle of ketchup costs $2 to $4 at any grocery store and contains approximately 70 tablespoons. Each tablespoon can clean a piece of copper jewelry or a small section of a larger item like a pot or decorative piece. Cost per cleaning application, 6 cents. Annual cost for monthly cleaning of multiple copper items, 72 cents. The cost difference over a decade is $149 to $399. That does not account for the time saved by not scrubbing with abrasive polishes or driving to jewelers for cleaning appointments. Before I give you the exact procedure, I need to be completely honest about what this method can and cannot accomplish. Ketchup effectively removes copper oxide tarnish from pure copper and high copper content alloys like bronze. It works on copper cookware, copper jewelry, copper pipes, decorative copper items, and copper components on mixed metal objects. This method will not work on copper that has been sealed with a protective lacquer coating. Many decorative copper items are lacquered at the factory to prevent tarnishing. If your copper piece does not tarnish, it is probably lacquered, and ketchup will not penetrate the coating. You would need to remove the lacquer first with acetone or lacquer thinner. This technique will not repair pitting or corrosion damage where the copper surface has been eaten away. It cleans oxidation from the surface but does not restore lost metal. If your copper has deep pits from years of neglect, ketchup will clean it but not fill the pits. Finally, ketchup works specifically on copper. It will not clean silver tarnish, which is silver sulfide requiring different chemistry, and it will not clean aluminum or stainless steel. Here is exactly what you need and the precise application technique. A bottle of standard tomato ketchup, any brand. The cheapest store brand works identically to name brands because the active ingredients are the same. Available at any grocery store for $2 to $4. A soft cloth, old t-shirt material, microfiber, or even paper towels work fine. Running water for rinsing, a soft brush like an old toothbrush for detailed areas, optional but helpful for ornate pieces with crevices. Total material cost, under $5, and the ketchup will last for months of copper cleaning. Start with a tarnished copper item. The darker and more oxidized the copper, the more dramatic the results will be. Squeeze or spoon enough ketchup onto the copper surface to coat the tarnished area. For a small item like a bracelet or ring, 1 tablespoon is sufficient. For a large pot bottom, you might use a 1/4 cup. Spread the ketchup into an even layer covering all the tarnished areas. You do not need to rub yet, just coat the surface. Let the ketchup sit on the copper for 5 to 15 minutes. For light tarnish, 5 minutes is enough. For heavy black oxidation that has built up over years, let it sit for the full 15 minutes. The acids in the ketchup need contact time to dissolve the copper oxide. You will sometimes see the ketchup changing colour slightly as it reacts with the tarnish. After the dwell time, take your cloth and begin wiping the ketchup across the copper surface using gentle circular motions. You should immediately see the tarnish coming off onto the cloth and the copper brightening underneath. For flat surfaces, wiping is sufficient. For detailed areas like engraved patterns or the links of a chain bracelet, use your soft brush to work the ketchup into the crevices and scrub gently. The ketchup will turn dark as it picks up the dissolved copper oxide. Continue wiping until the copper reaches the brightness you want. Once the copper is clean, rinse it thoroughly under running water to remove all ketchup residue. Copper is food safe, so you can rinse cookware right in your kitchen sink. Dry the copper immediately with a clean cloth. Copper will start to oxidize again as soon as it is exposed to air, so drying prevents water spots from forming. The copper will now be bright, clean, and shiny. If you want to prevent future tarnishing, you can apply a thin coat of mineral oil, beeswax, or a commercial metal protectant, but that is optional. Most people just clean copper periodically as needed. Here is what happens at the molecular level during this process. Ketchup contains acetic acid, with a concentration of approximately 0.1 molar from the vinegar used in its manufacture. It also contains citric acid from tomato content at approximately 0.04 molar. When these acids contact copper oxide, the hydrogen ions from the acids donate protons to the oxygen atoms in the copper oxide. This breaks the copper-oxygen bond, forming water and leaving copper ions in solution. The chemical equation is copper oxide plus acid yields copper acetate or copper citrate plus water. The copper salts formed are water-soluble, so they rinse away easily. The tomato solids in ketchup provide mild mechanical abrasion that assists the chemical action without scratching the soft copper metal underneath. The thickness of ketchup compared to plain vinegar means the acid stays in contact with the copper longer, allowing more complete reaction. A study published in the Journal of Chemical Education in 2006 used the ketchup-copper cleaning reaction as a teaching demonstration for acid-base chemistry and oxidation reduction reactions. The research confirmed that ketchup removes copper oxide at a rate comparable to commercial copper cleaners containing stronger acids, but with significantly lower risk of skin irritation or surface damage from over-aggressive cleaning. The study was designed for educational purposes. It has never been cited in consumer product literature or jewelry care guides. Here is what you need to understand about how jewelers actually clean copper. Most professional jewelers use one of three methods: ultrasonic cleaners that use high-frequency sound waves to agitate cleaning solution around jewelry, steam cleaners that use pressurized steam to blast away surface contamination, or chemical dips containing acids similar to what is in ketchup but at higher concentrations. The ultrasonic and steam methods require equipment that costs hundreds to thousands of dollars, but the actual cleaning effectiveness on copper comes primarily from the cleaning solution used, which is typically a mild acid. The chemical dip method is fundamentally identical to the ketchup technique. It is an acid-dissolving copper oxide. The professional version uses phosphoric acid or citric acid at higher concentrations for faster action. When a jeweler charges you $45 to clean a copper bracelet, the actual consumable cost of the cleaning solution is approximately 15 to 20 cents. You are paying for the business overhead, the retail location, the expertise, and the convenience of dropping off your item and picking it up later. Those things have value, but the chemistry being performed is not complex or exotic. It is acid-dissolving oxide, the same thing happening with ketchup in your kitchen. Your grandmother did not take her copper cookware to professionals for cleaning. She kept it bright with whatever acidic ingredient she had available, sometimes vinegar and salt, sometimes lemon juice, sometimes ketchup, because she understood that copper tarnish was just oxidation, and acid removed oxidation. The principle was simple, and the materials were already in her kitchen. The professional cooks who refined the ketchup technique in hotel kitchens were not chemists. They were practical people who needed fast, effective solutions using materials they had in bulk. They tested, observed, and adopted what worked best. The method spread through professional networks because results mattered more than brand loyalty to product manufacturers. It worked for them in commercial kitchens in 1940. It will work for you on your copper jewelry in 2025. The cleaning product industry did not disprove ketchup for copper cleaning. They simply built an entire market segment around convincing consumers that home remedies were inferior to purchased products, even when the chemistry was identical and the home version worked as well or better. Because a consumer who cleans copper with ketchup does not buy $9 bottles of copper polish twice a year. Because a jewelry owner who maintains their own pieces does not pay for professional cleaning services. Because a solution that costs 6 cents per use does not generate the profit margins that support product development budgets, retail distribution networks, and advertising campaigns. The science is published in academic literature. The method is proven through generations of practical use. The only missing element was mainstream visibility in an era where purchased solutions are assumed superior to homemade alternatives. Now you have that visibility. Subscribe to Forbidden Arena if you want more methods that cost pennies and outperform products marketed at premium prices. Like this video if ketchup just saved you $45 and a trip to the jeweler. Comment below and tell me what copper item you are restoring this weekend. Or share the most Tarnish piece you have ever brought back to life and what method you used before you knew this one. Every comment signals that simple, effective solutions deserve attention. Every like pushes this information past algorithm preferences for sponsored product reviews and professional service promotions. The technique is yours. The ketchup is in your refrigerator. What you do with both determines whether you keep paying for results you can achieve yourself in 15 minutes.